Yo, what's up? So basically, I just read this book. It's called Genius Mind. If you never read about it or heard about it, the idea of today's video is kind of just give you a resume on how Genius Mind works, how you can like turn it into one, and like how genius people work in general. I don't recommend that much reading this book. It's kind of boring book. It talks more about how the brain works in those genius people, and it focus more on like people that have some disabilities that are also really geniuses. So yeah, it's kind of niche. If you like it, you can read it, but whatever. So okay, the main thing that I want to make clear here is that you need to understand that being a genius or like being known as a genius isn't about like people that are born with it. A lot of them are born with it, but it's more about like their habits or things that they unconsciously do that most of the time is what they that like make them become a genius. That is their natural talent. One thing that I realized that like reading about all like geniuses people, successful people in general, is usually when they were kid they started doing a habit, and like for no reason they started doing that, and in the end of the day they discovered that that habit would like turn them into genius. Because just for example, if you spend a lot of time looking for things about computers, science, and math, probably when you grow up you're going to be much easier for you to understand about those topics and like become something really good at it. But just because you were curious about it, there's no specific reason. So basically, I found out there are like four big patterns for genius, and yeah. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one is connecting words. So a long time ago, it was most common for you to see this type of geniuses. Today, it's more harder for you to notice, but they exist. So, for example, we have like Da Vinci, which was like a artist, a engineer, a scientist, a philosopher. Like this man was insane. He was able of doing a ton of things. On the Elon books, he also talks a bit about that. Like in the past, a lot of scientists they needed to become engineers so they could like create things to help them to do science. So basically, the idea here is that when you learn things, don't put it inside a box and completely isolate that knowledge. Try to connect it with other knowledges or things that you know, because by connecting those two words, you can like create something completely new that could change the world. So, for example, if you are like a software engineer and you connect the knowledge that you have on other field, you can create a program like specific for that field that is insanely good and that everyone's starting using it. The second pattern is immersive obsession. Like you need to be obsessed with what you're doing. Sorry about that, but the biggest example that we have obviously in the modern society is Kobe Bryant. If you never heard of like in practice he would like do 100 shots. He would be the first one to wake up to start training. So like at 4 a.m. He was already practicing shots, and he would set a goal and wouldn't stop until he finished that goal that he had. It popularized a lot when he like I think he injured his arm, so he only had one arm to practice, but he practiced with just one arm, throwing with one hand. I do not remember if it was the right or left hand, but whatever. The other example that we have on that is like Van Gogh. Like in 10 years, he painted like 900 works. That's insane. That's almost like 2, 3 a day, every single day. So yeah, like if you're going to be great at something, if you're going to be considered a genius, if you're going to be talented at something. The other example, if I do not remember his name right now, but there was a like a it is a guy from the music world. It was no, not, I do not remember. But basically, there's someone in the music world. I do not like it, it's in my mind. The name he's one of the most popular names on music, but basically since he was a kid, he started like practicing like piano and music in general. It's from him that this idea of 10,000 hours came from, because when he was like, I don't know, 15, 18, I don't know, like he was a kid, he already had those 10,000 hours because he was practicing it all the time. And that's like one of the reasons why he became considered a genius. And it's not because like he was born with all that knowledge. No, he just practiced a lot when he was a kid. Just that he was obsessed with it. The third part is like processed suffering. The thing is, it's not that they suffer more, but they process suffering like different. Because you, I think it's really related with the second pattern, but you need to understand that becoming good at something most of the time it's not going to be something easy. You're going to pass through a ton of situations where like having this feeling that you want to like stop doing it. But the thing is, those genius people, those talented people, they just don't stop. Sometimes you could think that entire war is against you, and it could even be against you the entire war. But you need to keep going, keep move forward. If you're going to be one of the greatest, you have to be able to do it. And the fourth is like refusing premises. So instead of like questioning the answers of something, they question the question itself. So for example, instead of just thinking about the solution of the problem, they would think about the problem. Elon Musk talks a lot about it, like it's the kind of first principle thinking, instead of thinking like how do I make this rocket cheaper so I can make it, he would think like what are rockets made of. So by knowing what rockets are made of, I can like make this estimative. Okay, so I need X amount of tons of rocket, or of tons of this material. The transportation would cost X, and you start to make those little questions, and suddenly you could find out that okay, if I change, I can lower the amount of this material, or I can have more of this other material. I can change this material and things like that. The thing is just like also never think that something is impossible. So instead of someone saying you can do it, he would think about why can't I do it? Well, what is the logical reason why I couldn't do this thing? You know. So yeah, now just try to get these patterns implemented to your life. So You need to like stop disqualify yourself. You need to have on your mind this idea that anyone can become a genius. You just need to practice it. Obviously, there are exceptions. There are people that they are like insanely better, let's say, or more intelligent. But the thing is, at least I have in my mind, if I dedicate every single moment of my life into a goal, if I dedicate more than anyone to that goal, I'm going to achieve it. It doesn't matter. As this history has proven that those people that are delusional, they keep moving forward and go into their goal no matter what. They're the one that are going to achieve it. Because sometimes you have those geniuses that they were literally born with natural talent, but because they were born with natural talent, they're not obsessed with it. They can suffer the pain of doing or achieving that thing. So yeah, basically that's it for this video. Genius isn't about like having things that others don't have. It's doing something that everybody wants to do but nobody does. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment something down below. I just wanted to talk a bit about this book. It was a really interesting book, but it was also a really boring book. So my note is like a 6. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Could even get lower because it was really boring, but I got some like really interesting topics there. But yeah, basically that's it. If you like this video, please subscribe and share this video to someone. See you on my next videos.